What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're well. So for today's session, I just wanted to talk about emotions and the sequence of events that led up to yesterday for me personally. Now, I hope by me talking about the sequence of events, I will be able to help someone like you who goes through their trading journey and has hiccups and downfalls and just moments where you question your ability, whether you're going to be able to become a consistent and profitable trader. Now, I want to get rid of this notion that's out there, that's portrayed by a lot of traders, that when you come into this business, that every trade you take should win. Now, I know it's not said often, but it's portrayed that way. And what that really does for us as traders is really, it just makes things a lot harder. So what happened with me is last week, Monday, I started the month, couple of days into the month, and I started the month off with a bang. So on a Monday, I traded with a 5% risk. I've already spoken to you guys about this, so don't kill the messenger here, but took a 5% trade and I won, and I continued to trade pretty well for that week and for that day, and I managed to finish the day around 23% profit, which was a really big day. It's not normal, and it may happen once or twice a year, but on that occasion it happened. Continued to trade the rest of the week, and I done pretty well. I managed to get myself to around 30% profit for that week, just slowly building it up over the next couple of days. A few losses here and there. So over the weekend, I'm thinking about what a great week that I had, thinking about how I'm going to emulate that for the week coming. And I come into trading on Monday, done pretty well, managed to build my account up to 36%. That was on Monday. So another really nice trade on Monday. And then Tuesday came and was reviewing the market. I had identified on the pairs that USD looked really strong. Looked weak. The other pairs were looking strong. Was expecting some continuation rallies from the pound, expecting some continuation rallies from the yen. The euro, and done the pre-analysis in the morning, and I identified my key levels, made my plan, but I started to identify that something wasn't looking right. There was too many push phase markets with not enough exhaustions, and I needed to see those exhaustions before I looked to take some trades. So anyway, whatever, I had it in the back of my mind that yesterday I wasn't going to really trade, but I will trade if there was something that was really concrete and cement that I could take advantage of. Now, I took my first trade and a loss. Now, losing is part of trading. It is what it is. I've accepted that a very long time ago. But at that moment in time, I felt pretty hard up about it. I don't know why. I mean, I think I wouldn't call it overconfidence, but the week before and the week leading up to Tuesday, or the day leading up to Tuesday, start of this week, I had lost, but I was winning more than I was losing. So one trade really shouldn't have affected me, but I think it kind of did affect me. I'm just going to be brutally honest here, right? So I said to myself at this moment in time, look, I know that I'm feeling a bit emotional about this, and guess what? It's probably best that I stay out of the market. So I held back for a bit, and then I decided to go into the market again. Now, I took another loss. Now, for me, again, another loss is nothing. I've taken 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row. It's completely fine. But the emotions that were stirring up from these losses were really triggering me. Now, I didn't go on tilt, but it was triggering me. And the reason why it was triggering me is because I was doing something that I didn't want to do. Even though I wasn't breaking my trading plan or deviating from it, I was just doing something that I didn't want to do. So basically, I was acting on emotions. So those emotions that I was acting on were from down here. They wasn't from up here, they were from down here. So every time I decided to take a trade, I took a trade based on these feelings and not from up here. Anyway, I took another trade and I lost again. So I'm 3 trades in a row now. There's 3 trades now in a row that I've lost. I'm still not concerned about my behavior, but I'm just beating myself up internally because I'm taking trades based on emotions. Even though the trades were in line with my trading plan and patterns, I was still taking trades based on emotions. So, I don't know how to explain this in another way so that you can understand this, but I was still sticking within my daily limit of 4 losses a day. I have a theory, a concept that I use based on 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio, that I can lose 3 trades in a row and win 1. That puts me back to break even minus some commissions. So I wasn't concerned, but I just wasn't happy that I wasn't following my gut, listening to my emotions. And I took another trade and I won. Now that put me back to break even again minus commission. So I was down maybe 0.5%, hardly anything, still up 36% for the month, or just shy of 36% for the month. But I walked away and I wasn't relieved that I was back to break even. I just couldn't get over the fact that I was doing something I knew I shouldn't have been doing, because I was doing it based on emotions and not from a logical perspective, or from a logical perspective. I wasn't following what I should have been following. And that's really hard to accept as a trader. And this is where things can go downhill. You could build a small account, a big account. You can trade for months, weeks, years. And you could take hundreds and if not thousands of trades. And all it could take is one trade to trigger the wrong emotions, or the emotions that then trigger your next actions, to then destroy everything. And I mean, I wasn't at a point of destroying everything. I was only losing, the profits that I was making, which is besides the point. Don't get me wrong, it's besides the point. But you just don't need to be trading when you're feeling like that. And what happens when you're a trader, just a human being, period, is if you lose a trade, it provokes that flight or fight instinct. And naturally, as humans, we're not used to losing. We're not used to losing. Do you understand? We work really hard with our 9 to 5. We paint our house. We dig up our garden. And normally someone turns around and says, really well done for that effort. Or somebody rewards you with a cup of tea. Or somebody gives you a glass of water if it's hot. Do you understand? Or if you're at work at 9 to 5, you work hard for 6 months a year, you get a bonus or you get a promotion. Working as a trader or running your own business as a trader, you only get rewarded in theory if you win a trade. So when you lose that trade, that fight or flight is provoked, and naturally as human beings, what we want to do, or as traders should I say, is chase that back. Now I'm constantly talking about the numbers game, and I won't stop talking about it. I don't care how good your strategy is, how good my strategy is, unless you accept and learn to accept it's a numbers game, you will not succeed as a trader, period. So I was playing the numbers game for sure. 3 trades, 3 losses, 1 win, break even, blah, blah, blah. But what I want to say to you is that if your mindset is not straight, and you realize that your emotions are being stirred up, and then you realize that your next action is going to be based on emotions, which could then trigger you to take a trade that you shouldn't be taking, you have to follow it. I am begging you to listen to me. If you don't follow it, somebody who maybe not be as experienced as me, or somebody who may be, as experienced as me, may have taken those 3 losses yesterday and continue to lose, eventually blow the profits they have or you have, and then eventually just end up destroying their account. And the thing is with trading, as I said, you can build and you can build and build, but that minute when you start that ripple effect of losing and allowing those emotions to take over is very, very, very hard to come back. It almost haunts you, because now your trading and your results become a reflection of who you are as a person, your discipline, your patience, your self-awareness. You then question all the time that you spent studying, who's going to question you, how you're going to get to the next stages in your journey, etc. It's just not worth it. For one trade, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just don't do it. Because as a trader, we need to take our trades, or every decision we make needs to come from a logical standpoint. You have to understand that every action we take as a trader comes from a thought, or every emotion that's stirred up comes from a thought. So if you're in the morning, let's say you wake up, the night before you had a drink, or you just couldn't sleep, or you had a disagreement with your spouse, or you fell out with your friend. If you wake up in the morning and you are not at the height of I'm a trader, not a psychologist, but you know what I mean, at the height, or you're not at your optimal, then you have to really observe that. You have to remove yourself from being who you are as a person and try to see or develop a higher mindfulness so that you can look in on yourself and say, well, look, I'm tired. I feel a bit ratty. And maybe, no, not maybe, more than likely, the thoughts that I'm having are going to trigger the emotions that will come into play with my decision making as a trader. And that is something that is so important that you start to do. You have to start to see yourself from a higher mindfulness. The more you allow emotions to take over and trigger you, the harder things are going to be. And how do you do that? Well, if you come to the charts in the morning and you see that you're in a position where you're feeling a bit ratty, you're tired, you haven't had your coffee, and you feel that you're tense and you're itching and you're looking at the charts, you want to take a trade, you need to just stop. Breathe. Bring yourself back down. This is not a meditation session, but I'm being honest. Stop. Breathe. Bring yourself back down. Loosen yourself up. Take a walk. Because if you come and you're all flustered and you're rushed and you don't wake up in time to prepare your charts or do your reviews, get your coffee, use the bathroom, and you come to the charts and then you look at Pound USD and you see Pound USD's at support level, you take the buying opportunity and guess what? You get stopped out. But then you come to the charts after you lose and you reevaluate and you're like, well, this was a downtrend. Why did I sell? So you have to start developing a higher mindfulness of yourself. Bring yourself out of who you are or how you're feeling at the moment in time and observe, and then make logical decisions from that viewpoint. And if you do take a trade that ends up losing, yes, naturally you are going to feel a way. It's not going to feel nice, and nobody likes to lose. But that is why you do your due diligence beforehand. That is why you study. That is why you build a trading plan. That is why you put in all the hours and everything else that you've put in, the blood, sweat and tears, to make sure you know that not every single trade you're going to win. But ultimately, if you continue doing what you're doing, then guess what? You will make money and you will become a consistent and profitable trader. And it's very, very important to accept that. It's not about the trade you took now. It's about the next 99 that come after that. I want every single one of you to put 100 trades on a piece of paper or document it, put it somewhere on the wall, whatever you have to do. Every time you take a trade, knock one off. Only complain when you hit that zero, or only care about the results until you hit that zero. I promise you. You may not make money and you may not be a break-even trader, but there is no way in hell that you will blow that account if you're using proper risk management and you trust the numbers and you trust the process. So, yesterday I took one loss. I managed to get back to break-even. Did I need to go through that cycle in order to just end up back at break-even? No, I didn't. No, I did not at all. I could have just stopped, trusted my emotions, looked at things from a logical perspective, been more aware of my mind and how it was feeling, and said, rocks, enough's enough today, done the dance. But I didn't. So I went through a cycle that I didn't need to go through. And then what happens then? Come back on Monday, come back the next day, and what can happen? You could still be affected by the previous day. Now, I wasn't affected because I managed to walk away and I dealt with it. It is what it is. Could have been worse. But the point is, when you recognize these things, walk away. So I came back today, looked at the charts, done the live analysis this morning, looked at some setups, and then guess what? I took my trade in line with my trading plan, and Bob was your uncle. I hit the bag, 1 to 3. Now, yesterday, if I just went away with one loss, of course, I would still be up today, but I would have been more proud of myself because I wouldn't have felt bad for doing what I did. And I wouldn't have had to go through the emotional cycle that I did. But I did. It is what it is. We move on. But I want to tell you that every trader is human and this is normal. but there is a lot that you can do to manage it. Trust yourselves. Be aware of who you are. Your physicality and your mentality is the most important aspects to your success as a trader. If you don't take heed of it and look after it and nourish it and cherish it, it's going to affect you over here. It is going to affect you over here. Oh, I thought my screen moved with my hand. It's going to affect you over here. So take more time to work on that. Trust yourselves. You've done the hard work. You've laid the foundation. All you're doing now is building on it. Take your time and you will get the results you are looking for. Anyway, that was my journey and just my experience. And I hope that's useful to one person out there. And if it is, I wish you well for your trading. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications, and until next time, family, trust the process.